starting off with some amazing news. It's really funny how many people really shit on California that just don't live here. And I've experienced this my entire life. Every time that I've traveled outside of California to another state, it is very clear how other people view Californians, as well as how they view Californians who think about or decide to move outside of California. Not welcome tends to be the predominant type of viewpoint, the predominant type of energy that gets pushed in my direction. Thoughts of moving to Portland, no. Thoughts of moving to Denver. I did move to Denver, and it's just all you see are these posts about how people hate Californians. Stop moving here. Stop moving here. Whereas if you've lived in California, right, Southern California is primarily where I've lived my entire life. Palm Springs area, which is close to LA. I've lived in San Diego for like 13 years. And let me tell you that California is full of people from other states. People from other states all over the world, all over the country move to California because it's awesome. They're not moving to Bakersfield, California. They're moving to LA because they want to be, they want to be discovered in Hollywood, or they're moving to San Diego for school or military or the weather, or just beautiful. And Silicon Valley and San Francisco is kind of a hotbed as well. So a bunch of people. So I'm used to being around people that are not from here. And I am completely fine. I'm cool with people in general, but it's weird to go to another state and have like this weird like hatred for California. There's even there's a TikTok account, and the guy on this account, all he does is defend California. He'll find people who post TikToks talking shit about California, and then he'll defend it. It comes across my feed every once in a while, and I'm not a follower of his, but I appreciate he's doing that. I just can't imagine that being your whole identity, is like, I'm the guy who defends California. I don't really feel like California needs defense. I've gotten a lot of benefits from being in California, specifically during the pandemic, while the federal government refused to and stopped a lot of financial services during the pandemic, or drug their feet to do any in the first place. California had their own. So I got, there's stimulus checks. They boosted the unemployment. The fact that I was even able to get unemployment in the first place, considering I was a gig employee, I was a freelancer, technically, working for like companies like Uber and Lyft and Postmates and all those delivery services. When the pandemic hit, they put a provision into unemployment that allowed for gig workers to receive unemployment. It was a situation where I didn't know if I was going to get a stimulus check. I didn't know I was going to get unemployment, and the amount of unemployment I was given would have been barely enough to survive. But thankfully, because I live in California, not only did I get unemployment, but I also got all of their extra pandemic stimulus money that they attached to the unemployment. And I was able to save that money and focus 100% of my energy doing this stuff to hopefully make enough money to survive and not have to go work for anybody else. But that never would have happened if I lived in another state. Now, there may be other states out there that have similar things to California, the benefits. Texas not being one of them for sure. Florida not being one of them. There's a lot of the red states that really, they like their state to be on some kind of socialist program where they get a lot of government aid, but they don't like the people that live in that state to get any aid when it counts. So there's this story right here. California could become the first state in the nation to have universal health care, which is something that should be it should be federally universal health care like yesterday. Like, as far as developed countries in this world, we are falling behind in every single way. It is so clear how little human life is valued in the United States. If humans were considered property, there would be better care taken of humans. But we are not considered property any longer, despite how much the Confederate flag flies around this country. Slavery is supposed to be illegal, aside from the private prisons. And aside from apparently, like, Georgia, there were, like, people, like, slavery was happening in Georgia recently. So people aren't supposed to be considered property. But if we were, we'd probably have better benefits. But thankfully, California is doing some good things, hopefully leading the way, to follow suit, to be the proof of concept. There's so many other countries that have universal health care that, like, apparently isn't good enough to be shown to people to say, look, it works there. Is it perfect? No. But is it better than this bullshit that we're existing in here, where it's like, if I got sick, I remember I got a kidney stone when I was 19. Didn't have health insurance, right? Had a friend drive me to the hospital. They did one ultrasound. I was there for an hour. I had a $4,000 bill at 19 for a kidney stone. I couldn't afford to go back to get the kidney stone analyzed to see what caused it. I couldn't even afford that. I had to, at 19, have 2 jobs to pay for this giant medical bill for an hour. $4,000 an hour for an hour of work. So, like, you get COVID, we're in a giant pandemic. People are coming out of the hospital that don't have insurance with, like, bills that would take a lifetime to pay off. So having the option of a universal health care, I am all for it. I just signed up for just the regular health insurance through California. I don't know if it's Medi-Cal or Medicaid. It's one of those two. And I was approved, but I have to, like, submit forms. Like, I have to prove that I don't have a job and I'm not making money. Like, I have to somehow prove that I don't have income. I don't know how you prove. There's other things that I have to prove that I don't understand how I prove these things. But I got the card, so I think I have it. And there's a due date on the paperwork that I have to submit till April. So I don't know if that means that I have it till April. I don't know. I'm not trying to go anywhere. I'm not trying to get sick. I can't afford it. But if there's something like this, which California Assembly Bill 1400 would create CalCare, a system governed by an independent board of directors that promises access to any doctor regardless of network, and a wide variety of medical services for all state residents. The system would be financed by a broad array of new taxes on individuals and businesses, which is already a giant surplus in California, which is why it was effortless for them to give out extra money in unemployment and extra stimulus checks and all these other programs that have helped people out during a global pandemic that seems to be unending. Right? It's battling the Zack Snyder universe of films for being the worst franchise of, like, every new iteration of this virus. Right? Is just worse than the last. And people just eat it up. It's insane. So I'm thankful. Hopefully that goes through. I'm not going to hold my breath, but considering all of the other benefits, which is insane that people wanted to recall Gavin Newsom. It's like, you have no idea. Like, I would be so fucked. I would have easily gotten coronavirus pre-vaccine, because I would have had to go get a job at like Walmart if anybody was hiring in the time where only, essential workers and like there was only a few businesses open. Like, I don't know. Like, there was a point before I got any financial aid that like I was basically my roommate, my friend that I live with, was paying for my shit. Like, I was forcing somebody else to go in debt because there was nothing, like politicians were dragging their feet. Like they're trying to carve a new fault line in the Earth's crust. But no, it all worked out. It all worked out, and I'm actually in it gave me more runway to do my things, and hopefully, like, things are trending in a good direction. So I'm just thankful. I'm thankful to be here, and it would have been completely different if I lived in another state. Completely different.